That's right. It's the morning show right here on KVVB TV, Channel 33, Facebook Live, Periscope TV, LinkedIn Live, YouTube Live, and of course our good friends at Roku TV. Glad to have you on today's show. We got lots to talk about, lots of stories that we're keeping tabs on, actually, as they're latest developing stories happening right here at ABC News Radio. So we'll talk about that around the corner. First of all, we got Mr. Jesse Sanchez over there. Good morning, Jesse.
Good morning.
Now, how was your weekend, Jesse? I mean, you've got lots of things to do over there in the city of Riverside. So, out of curiosity, what did you make fun that otherwise would not have been fun?
There's things to do in Riverside. I thought everything's closed. No, I just stayed home, played video games, watched a few
cool.
movies.
I'm not gonna lie right now. I almost rated the little one. You know, the little one saved. Okay, do you remember saving money as a kid, by the way, ever?
Yes.
And how much do you think that you saved as a kid? And I mean like a kid under 8 years old, because normally when kids get money, they spend it. So just out of curiosity.
Yeah, I don't think I made it past $20.
That was me as well. I mean, I remember when my mom gave me like an allowance, and then she gave me like if you do certain chores, you get a certain amount of money. But I think we did pretty good. So I'm going to put a little, tap on the shoulder here, because the little one, we had him. Did you ever do the rolls with quarters, dimes, and nickels? Did you ever put those in like the little bank things? What do they call them? The little wrappers?
Yeah. I did that.
So we did that with all of his change and all the money he saves. And we taught him how to save, because he used to be like, I'm going to spend. And we used to go, okay, do you want to think about that first? Come back, go back. He's like, no, I want to spend. I'm like, okay, well, you have your own money now. Do you want to spend it? No. So he ended up saving, get this, over $170 last that I checked. I was like, wow, Dang. Kid, I just have to applaud like him. I know you may not be listening right now, but seriously, he's like got a lot of money over there. So I was tempted. I'm like, that's half the price of a PlayStation 5 coming out around the corner. And I was like, well, what if I did a loan with you, little one? And he's like, what's that? No, I want to save my money. So we got to teach him interest and how people are actually really kind of taking advantage of other people during coronavirus time. Seriously, people are, and they're making money out of it. Some aren't. We'll call those out too, especially the really good ones over there. Okay, we got to take a quick break here on the morning show. When we get back, we got more right after these messages. Stay tuned. All right, we're on a commercial break. I know you guys like that music as I do. I'm wanting to open up to musicians that we know, or that we have friends, but Facebook is very temperamental when we use certain music. So it has to be their version of music. So if you're wondering how why we use the same music over and over again, talk to Facebook about it. There is this program actually which makes it copyright free, and they're actually pretty good. We tried them out for some time. I'd have to look it up though, but you have to maintain an account with them, and so you still kind of are buying their licensing that goes across platforms. But we live in a strange world. Remember when you could like download any type of music from online? I think you still can technically, right, Jesse? Like there's ways.
If there's ways, I don't know what you're talking about.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Back to
Mm-mm.
Napster days, right? No, but I mean you could do YouTube. There's ways to like, but they have certain ripping programs that you could rip certain stuff off of there. It's terrible. It really is.
10
People do it.
seconds.
But there you go. I'm not recommending anybody do that, by the way, because I stopped doing that like
2 seconds.
a while back. No, seriously, a while back. That's right. It's the morning show right here on ABC News Radio, KMET, 1490 AM. Joining our live TV audience over there at KVVB TV, Channel 33, Facebook Live, Periscope TV, LinkedIn Live, YouTube Live, and of course, Roku TV. Glad to have you with us. On today's show, we got lots of stuff to talk about. Yes, I said stuff because there's just stuff out there floating around, quite literally. Because we've got a lot of news, a lot of bad news, by the way, a lot of updates. I think the top of the news tweet or retweet was to fire Dr. Fauci, which I was like, I saw that and I says, what? Who? What? So I don't know. We may or may not share that. I haven't had time to review that. However, so there you go. So we got lots of other stories that we'll try to keep because the whole idea we're going to try to do today, and I don't know about you, Jesse, but I am really sick and tired of bad news. So I'm going to try to make this a Fun Day Monday. You ready for that, Jesse? Can we do that together? Fun Day Monday? Is that even possible with all the latest updates? I don't know.
I hope it's possible because I want to have fun today.
I know, right? I feel like we need a little bit more fun. I mean, after all, people, of course, celebrating throughout the week a variety of different, either Passover and or Memorial, Lord's Evening Meal, Easter, so many different things. So many people, of course, normally doing this. And a lot of people took it in stride, by the way. A lot of them doing it online, right, with certain church services and being responsible rather than not. Although I did see some areas of the country which are like, no, we can do this. We could be in person. I'm like, you do realize there's online, but that's okay. Who am I to judge? So there you go. Anyway, long story short, we've got a lot of stories here. For those of you in social media land, we see you and we appreciate you as well. You know what? Why don't we have the rest of the audience who are online share with us how their weekend was and or how they're keeping safe than sorry, meaning they're actually staying inside, but they're actually either learning something new, doing something fantastic for somebody else and or themselves, and or just having fun, having some downtime. I mean, right? Look, I don't know how you can spin it, especially if you're out of work and you can't pay the bills. However, I did see a post the other day, which I thought was quite interesting. It was like, no matter what you feel about it, reconnect with nature. I'm like, well, that's kind of hard when you're surrounded by, like a ceiling and four walls and you have no nature inside, right? But we've even got a story on plants, what kind of inside plants, which I wanted to share last week, but I felt kind of bad because of the Wisconsin vegetable gardener. So there you go. So we're going to share that as well and many more. First of all, I want to do a big shout out to those tuning in live. Yes, we got quite a few on Periscope. We see you guys over there. We got Brent Zilla. We've got Picosat and Yil Mazurkan. If you guys are wondering how you can find us on Periscope, it's simple. Just find us on Twitter, KMET 1490 AM or KVVB TV 33 and or what's the other one? Aaron M. Sanchez. There you go. Jesse, you don't Twitter much, do you? You don't get Twitter pated.
No, I do not tweet. Is that what you call it? Twitter?
It's actually pretty fun, because it's kind of kept so the long rants, you don't see long rants, except for one long rant. He has like multiple rants. I don't know how he does it. But the majority of other people just kind of, like really quick, fast, and you can get a lot of information really quick. Sometimes, in fact, I've been thinking about going back to news stories there because news stories on there are kind of categorized really good. So if you get your news in the morning, you may want to check out Twitter. Twitter's got a really good landscape of news from a variety of sources. All real news, by the way, not fake news. Okay, I use that term lightly because many people always say, you're fake news, you're fake news. I get that all the time on Twitter and Facebook and the like. And I'm like, okay, we'll do the research. Coronavirus, remember when that was told to be a hoax? Remember that, Jesse? Do you remember that?
Yeah, fake news.
Yeah, and so somebody got let go. One of the anchors actually got let go because, it was like, no, it's a conspiracy against Trump, and the reality is everybody's like, do you realize people are going to the hospital and getting sick and even dying? In fact, I saw a report today, which was really sad. Before we go into like fun news, which I guess President Trump lost a good friend due to coronavirus. So this is going to be a big story throughout the week, I'm sure, and much, much more. Again, for those that are out there, remember why. First of all, we are trying to have fun at home. We're trying to have more fun at home rather than be outside and do what we want to do and make others sick, especially those that may end up dying from it. So this is the responsibility that we all have, but here we go. Okay, so back to fun stories, Jesse. This one. A lot of people are getting creative with their hairstyling needs while social distancing. That's one of the top stories here. I don't know about you, Jesse, but who do you have that cuts your hair normally? Is that you or a family friend or somebody else?
No, I would go to a barber, but since they're all closed, I'm actually thinking of just buzzing my hair off right now.
Oh, really?
Get ready
Yeah,
for the
just
summer.
you're gonna go like full like just okay. So a lot of people, of course, kind of wondering what to do. So there's a lot of stories on this subject, makeshift, right? People that are doing this now. I'm gonna go out on a limb and just say I am so happy I found the love of my life, and she happens to do hair for a living. So this hairdo brought to you by Brenda Higuera, who's actually on the line with us, and I think she has some tips for those wondering because many people are always like, hey, are you going to do house calls? She's like, no, I'm not going to do house calls. However, she's been able to do this really cool thing, which is kind of walk them through it virtually using FaceTime, I believe, and I don't know what else she uses. So maybe we can have her kind of chime in with us. Brenda Higuera, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Okay. So, Brenda, I got a quick question for you. You have a lot of clients that have a lot of hair dyeing needs. I mean, my hair took about, 15 minutes, I think, just to get done. But the majority of your clients are fashionistas, let me just say it. Let me put it lightly. And so they want to make sure that their hair is really looking good. What are some tips that you have for our audience members who want to either color their hair, dye their hair, or it's the same thing, right?
I still recommend to contact their hairdresser, text them, call them, reach out to them, because what I offer my clients is I do a virtual session. So I will recommend a color if they don't get a care package for me, something that they can get at the store that is decent enough. So that way, if we have to fix it once the quarantine is lifted, it's repairable. So I do a FaceTime with my clients, and I walk them through. So I give them a like a little virtual session. So I teach them how to retouch up their roots. Highlights, well, that's a whole nother story. But there's options for clients out there.
Now, has there ever been a worst case scenario of somebody who tried to do their hair and ended up calling you and saying, "Oh my God, what have I done?"
Yeah, actually, I did have a client who she took it upon herself just to get a color, one of those box dye colors that you get at the pharmacy or at the store. She did her own hair, and eventually it turned out orange. And so it was going to be her birthday, yes, in quarantine, but she was going to do a little FaceTime party. And she had hot roots. We call that hot roots. So she had a lot of red, brassy tones on her roots, and it was very obvious. And so I sent her a little care package, and I walked her through, and she looked great. She looked fabulous. Actually, she did a great job. A lot of my clients that are getting these little care packages and touching up their hair virtually with me have been doing such a great job. So I don't know if I'm going to still have a job, but I'm sure I will.
Well, and it's funny because I know, and you said this to me a while back. Mental health is so important. Why is it important, especially for the guys out there, to say, you know what, honey, you need to maybe to either touch base with your own hairstylist and see if they're doing this and get some tips, and/or connect with Brenda Higuera on a one-on-one. But I mean, why do you think this is so necessary, especially during the coronavirus season that's upon us?
Everyone really, during just non-quarantine time. Everyone's always, out and about and looking good and feeling good. And when we're quarantined and we're shacked up, people just want to feel good, look good, and feel good at the same time. It gives them a little kind of sense of normalcy, so to say. So having, a nice look, having, to put your nails polished, or your, makeup, or a nice haircut, or, or a nice style or color touch up, it helps that person just feel normal with like an, just feel good about themselves. So, talking about mental health, yeah, I'm sorry, but you know what? I had said this to someone. I said, not only, are healthcare workers important, so are hairdressers. We do a whole lot behind the doors that people don't realize. And someone put it really nicely, where they said, don't make fun of someone that's going, to, Home Depot to go get a can of paint, or, some plants to plant. A lot of people, you don't know, they look normal from the outside, but, from the inside, they do have some thoughts that, they're trying to, sort out, and whatever makes them feel good, don't judge them.
Yeah, well, and I've always said this. I've said, what, hairstylists typically are like the free. I don't want to use the word shrink, but it was in a movie that I saw this weekend. Psychologist, right? But I'm not saying that you are a psychologist, but there's a lot of like therapy time that's done in the chair, because these sessions can last. Jesse, I know you're typically used to what, like a 15-minute like cut. How long do your cuts usually last, Jesse?
Probably about a half hour.
Oh, that's a lot longer than I normally do. Okay, but the majority, just out of curiosity, Jesse, I know, as a single guy as you are, with a girlfriend though, how long do you think the average blowout and or hair dye lasts, Jesse? So my point is, you want to make sure you have a good hairstylist that can, like, do the marathon.
Ooh, good question. You know what? I don't know. I never put color in my hair, so I'm not quite sure how long it lasts.
Okay, and I'm saying this really for all the men. All the ladies know exactly how long this lasts. Brenda, can you give us an update on that?
So you want an update on how long the durability of when you need a touch up?
No,
Well,
how long does it take just to do the first initial, like,
oh my gosh. Oh,
men don't
okay,
understand this. Yeah.
Okay, so Jesse and viewers, for the ladies to touch up their hair, it takes a good hour and a half to put the color on. Yes, put the color on, mix it, put the color on, wash it out, and blow dry it. Yes, so it's a process. So
it's a process, Jesse.
Yeah, it's not a quick 30-minute wham bam thank you ma'am. No, it is you're gonna sit there, you're gonna like have to wait for it to process once you put it on. And it's quite interesting because clients of mine were having a hard time mixing, and that's the key thing. I think where we, professionals keep their job. We'll also have a job after this. Is they had a hard time mixing, but once they got that down, another 30 minutes later, adding that, to the time of processing time, and then shampooing it and then blow drying it. I think I had clients have a more appreciation for professionals out there.
Yes, this is my point, Jesse. And I think you've even done like 3-hour marathons, like a whole like thing, like a redo or something. And it's a process. But my point is this: a lot of these women that I've seen get a lot of like kind of what I call a therapy session, and and it's a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but during this time, it's almost like if anybody knows anything about anybody, it's the hairstylist. That's just a. I've always known this. Most people know this already. So make sure you choose a really good hairstylist. And I'm just saying, once coronavirus is done, Brenda Higuera does have quite a bit of expertise listening to a lot of people. So, okay, we got a lot of things to talk about here on the morning show. Brenda, thank you very much for chiming in on this Fun Day Monday episode of the morning show. Brenda.
You're welcome.
All right. For those that want to follow Brenda, you can do so on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, 35 Lifestyle. Just type that in, 35 Lifestyle on most. And then I think on Instagram, it's 35 Lifestyle. You have to spell it out. Anyway, follow her. She has a lot of good tips right there. We'll be right back right after these messages with more right after this. right, Jesse, we got our commercial break. For those of you tuning in, we're on our commercial break. Jesse, any really good... Oh, wait. What's the update on the Final Fantasy game that you're playing?
Oh, I love it.
Oh,
it's a great game.
I'm so envious right now. I really am. That was a great game when it came out. So what's the difference between when it came out and the one that part I don't understand.
In this one, you're stuck, not stuck, but it takes place in the main city where you first start.
Mm-hmm.
So like in the original game, I think you would leave the city after like 15 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But in this one, no, it's more stretched out the story wise. So you get to see more of what happens in the city before you take off. But
now for those wondering, what Jesse's talking about, sorry I didn't introduce my subject because I got really excited there. Final Fantasy VII. Now the original was released in what year, Jesse?
1997, I believe.
Ooh, yeah, very good. September 7th, 1997. And when that came out, I kid you not, I was a fiend for Final Fantasy up to that point, and even more so when that one came out. And after that, I was disappointed with later generations. Although I had the role-playing one online, I had that one for a while, and I got bored with it really quick because the graphics were really bad. But that one was like, it was just so amazing. And now that they've redone it, I'm not gonna lie, I really almost stole the 18. I'd call him little, but he's not little. He's really tall. 18-year-old's PlayStation. I wanted but I'm like, no, that's terrible. Why would I do that? But I was tempted. I'm telling you. Yeah, there it is. Oh man,
it's worth it.
That's a screenshot of the latest one, huh? So the graphics are so much.
Yes.
Oh, updated graphics. Oh, I'm ready to raid the
It's
little
more
ones.
action orientated. So it's not just it's good.
By the way, the Linda Marie's we had a taped episode. We were supposed to play it Friday. My tire got
10
flat.
seconds.
Long story short, I missed Friday. We were supposed to have her on Friday. So we're going to put it on this coming Friday with more gaming stuff. You'll enjoy it. It's a great segment.
2 seconds.
Welcome back. Yes, it is the morning show right here on ABC News Radio, KMET, 1490 AM. Joining our live TV audience over there at KVVB TV, Channel 33, Facebook Live, Periscope TV, LinkedIn Live, YouTube Live, and of course our friends at Roku TV. Glad to have you with us. On today's show, we're trying to talk about good news versus bad news, although it's very difficult because there's a littering of bad news there. So every now and then it kind of makes its way into the morning show. However, we're going to go do some shout outs with those tuning in live at home, safe at home, right? Unless, of course, you're an essential worker, then you're working on the job and hopefully listening to the morning show, right? Maybe so? No? They got more important things to do? What? Okay, fine. Like Alejandro Patino, who says, I'm growing my beard out for the duration of the lockdown. Jesse, what do you think about that? Good idea? Great idea?
No, might as well do it.
Yeah, might as well.
Or
Right? I think, especially when you can like do different like versions after that, when you like do the shave down. I want to do a whole shave down. I would do like it in phases, right? Like go with the Wolverine look, and then right? No, oh, that's the last step, right?
I'm not gonna lie. Whenever I shave my beard, I always do fun little things. So like I'll do like the handlebar or something like that.
Yeah. Except with face masks, we talked about this before. Face masks don't have the full good on suction thing that you want. So you still got areas because we had so Friday, for those of you that watch our regular show, you probably thought, wait, why is the morning show not on? It was a recorded version here on the radio. Not so much TV, but on radio we had a rerun. So for those of you that tune in regularly, you missed Friday's episode. But the reason was really a good reason. I don't normally miss the morning show and I almost did it from home, but I was like, we're not quite set up for that yet. However, have you ever had it where, Jesse, you have a legitimate excuse, but no matter how you try to spin it, people aren't going to believe you?
Oh yeah, are you talking about the last Friday with your car tire thing?
See, you don't even believe me. There it is. Yeah. No, so the day before, so we got these brand new tires, right, from America's Tire. We love America's Tire, and I'll tell you why. So the day before, I saw low tire pressure on all 4 of them. Our car has a little built-in thing. It tells you what the PSI is. So for those of you that don't move your car often, you might want to check on the battery. You might want to check on the tires because they may have been sitting there for quite some time, depending on how stay-at-home you are currently. So long story made longer. I get out, I'm all ready to go, completely suited up, ready to come into the morning show, and I look at the car and I go, oh, pretty good. I get in, boom, I roll it back, and you know that dun 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 dun, and you're like, oh, something's wrong with the tire. They must be really low right now. Kid you not, flat tire on the left-hand side in the back, okay, completely flat. The other ones, like I already knew the PSI was down. I don't know if I just don't drive it enough. I don't know. So I end up going, okay, it's okay. We have another car in the same garage. It's called my mom's 4Runner because she's staying with us. Battery is dead, Jesse. So I'm like, do I call an Uber? Do I call a Lyft? What do I do? And I'm just like, there's just no time. How am I going to do this? I can call a ride, but by the time I get there, so long story made longer, I end up having to call in. Jesse, I call into you. I say, hey, can we do a quick rerun? You put on a rerun, easy peasy. TV, not so much. Anyway, so then, I'm like, great. And everybody's like, this is Good Friday. I'm like, yeah, maybe for you. So here's what happened. So then I call up America's Tire a little bit later because they opened up after 9 o'clock, right? And America's Tire, I don't know where you get your tires from, Jesse. Do you have a recommendation where you get your tires from?
Everything I do for our car, we get done from what's it called? It's a tire place that we've gone to for the past like 20 years. They're always good to us and stuff. Can't remember the name.
Yeah, that's terrible, Jesse. It's the tire place over there. I know. You're like you know it visually. So back to the story. So America's Tire, go and call them, and I'm like, look, we just got these about a month and a half ago, quite literally. Both Brenda's and mine. Hers actually had an explosion on the freeway, so we got hers done, and then they were like, yours was about to have an explosion. I'm like, So I'm like, okay, can we do it on credit? They're like, yes. So I'm like, okay, good. And this is all before coronavirus, by the way. So I'm like, easy peasy, gonna pay this off. No problem, right? Yeah, how did I know that was going to go that way? Anyway, long story short, so of course they have a warranty. He's like, look, we'll just look at it, take care of it. Worst case scenario, it's going to cost you $10 for the warranty package program. And I said, okay, great, fantastic. So we end up having to call AAA. Thank God AAA works as an essential service right now. So the guy comes, full on mask, but he's got a beard, so you could tell it's like on and off. It's not fully on. I'm feeling bad for the guy, but I don't say anything. He's of course really nice. He tests the battery on the 4Runner. He's like, yeah, it's completely dead. I go, yeah, I know. Can I get a charge? He's like, okay. And so he tows the car. We go tow it to America's Tire, and America's Tire is like, we're closed between 12 and 3. So I'm like, oh no, because it's Good Friday, right? So long story made even longer, we end up going ahead and getting America's Tire to take care of us, and they take care of us before they go to lunch instead of waiting for us after like 3 o'clock, which we thought we were gonna have to wait all that time and do some other stuff, go to Home Depot, do a quick little essential run. And no, they took care of it right there and then, right before like their big like 3-hour break, which I was like, you know what? I'm okay with this. So they stayed a little bit longer for us, made it a great experience. America's Tire in Victorville and everywhere across the country. If you get your tires from America's Tire, they will take care of you. And guess what they charged me? Zero, zip, nada. And it had a nail in the actual tire on that one. On the other ones, they were just low for some other reason. So of course they pumped them all up, right? Did the little air test and good to go. Yay, hooray. So now I got to call America's Tire back and say, thank you so very much. Or we'll just do a big shout out right here on the show as a thank you. No, they don't pay for us for anything else. We didn't get them for free, but we did get the service taken care of. And again, great, happy people practicing social distancing. If you go to America's Tire, you have to stay in your car. And then of course they come out to you and they kind of work around with that. But there you go. Long story, very made short because we're out of time now. America's Tire, if you're going to get a tire anywhere, and you don't have Jesse's place because he doesn't remember the name of it, yes, definitely got to choose America's Tire because they really take care of you, do a really good job, and they make you feel like $1,000,000. At the end of that day, it was a Good Friday. Long story short, now my tires are all inflated and good to go. So here we are. Okay, we're going to take a quick break here on the morning show. When we get back, we got more right after these messages. Stay tuned. All right, for those of you tuning in, we see you. Let's see, got Mom over there saying Pep Boys. She likes to go to Pep Boys. That's Manny, Mo, and Jack, right? Isn't that Manny, Mo, and Jack? Remember when they used to have those commercials way back in the day? Alejandro Patino is asking, have I ever worn a beard? The answer to that is not really. Not like a full-on Jesse beard. I've wanted to. Don't get me wrong. I've wanted to, but I think that would be like if I was cast away on an island and nobody saw me. You know what I mean? Because what? I've always been in like service-oriented like stuff. So like in sales and other things, I've always had to like, I was always like working for corporate. So corporate was very corporate, you know, so you had it. So and between that and then my, you know, day job, like, because I had multiple jobs at any given time. So, you know, always had to like keep it kind of clean shaven. So plus I was brought up with in a very religious household. So we were like shave. I was so tempted at one point to get electrolysis. Do you know what that is, Jesse?
Yes.
Yeah. It basically, that's a hard. Okay, that's a guess, right? Electrolysis. For the ladies know this, by the way. Let me get the correct term before somebody like says that's not what electrolysis is. Okay, so electrolysis basically is where they electrocute your body so that it stops growing hair. That's it. What? That's not the definition. Okay, get it right. Electrolysis stops the hair growth for some time.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I was way off.
What did you think it was?
Let's just not go to where I thought it was gonna.
I don't even want to know now.
Well, something to do with electricity. So. Other than that, I don't know.
Okay, so we're talking about electrolysis for hair removal. There's the electrolysis just in general for hair removal. For those of you that are very to the letter, electrolysis is a method of removing individual hairs from the face or body. Today's medical electrolysis devices destroy the growth hair of the hair with chemical or heat energy. After a very fine probe is inserted into the hair follicle, the hair is removed with tweezers.
4 seconds.
You're welcome.
4 seconds.
That's right. It's the morning show
That's
here on
right.
ABC News Radio, KMET, 1490 AM. Joining our live TV audience over there at KVVB TV, Channel 33, Facebook Live, Periscope TV, LinkedIn Live, YouTube Live, and of course, Roku TV. Glad to have you with us. On today's show, we're talking about some fun news versus bad news, or at least we're trying. So I'm going to try to spin this. I don't know how to spin this just yet, but here's a top headline, actually. And this one is on our friends over at CBS News. Okay, CBS News. A mask-making movement. Now, Jesse, I see you kind of not, spreading coronavirus out there because you're being safe than sorry. Have you seen any face masks that you're like, you know what, I want to make that for myself or buy it or just find somebody that makes it like that?
Not that I've seen, but honestly, I kind of want to just roll around in like a Darth Vader helmet or a Stormtrooper. I mean, it's covering my face, right? I should be able to wear it.
You know what? I think this should be allowed. I don't see why not. Some have gotten pretty fancy with their face masks. I saw one the other day, which was cute. It was like big lips, right? And then when she opened it, it was like a laughing mouth. It was actually very smart. I'm like, how can we make that? But this is the thing. People are making their face masks, and they're doing so as best as possible, especially with the whole well, it's not a legislation, it's just like a local law, right? However, some people have been kind of confused. I saw this recently. Some were like, because the information's coming out so fast, do you have to wear it while driving? What do you think, Jesse? Is that the idea? You have to wear it while driving?
I'm gonna say no.
Well, there was some confusion this weekend, evidently, because there were a lot of people that I saw wearing face masks. And, if you want to, that's fine. But I was kind of like, man, I've been going around I put on the face mask when I need to, right? Back to America's Tire, I was like, because it was in the other car, the car that was being towed. So I was like, oh, man, my face mask, because I keep it in the car. So I was going around willy-nilly just for a tiny bit. But I was not coming in contact with people. But people looked at me kind of like, wow, who are you to not wear a face mask? I'm like, what? I got to get it first. So then I got it, and everything was okay. But the majority of us out there, if you've seen the news, some have said, well, you have to wear it even while driving. They had an update on that. If you roll down your window and or speak to a professional, you should then be wearing the face mask, by the way. So basically, anytime you come into contact with anybody else other than your family members, right? Because, I mean, come on, let's face it, you're in close quarters. You're going to be breathing each other's throat, quite literally. So, just, keep that okay. But if you want to wear it, there's nothing wrong. But if you don't, you'll be A-okay. Although I did see, I think this weekend, 7 people got like $1,000 fines. I'd hate to be one of those 7, right? For like disobeying certain coronavirus. That was in LA. I don't know what they did or didn't do. I would imagine it was a last course resort. Although I've been seeing some really kind of sad updates where, did you see this, Jesse, where there was a father and daughter, and they were in the park and they were playing ball, but he gets locked up. Did you see that?
Yes, I did see that. It was wrong. They should have handled it a bit differently, but.
Yeah. And no truth to the rumor. The guy was an ex-cops, right? So I'm wondering if, like, how doctors kind of are like, I know better. No, I know better. But they're like, no, you don't know better. We have to take care of this. They're like, but I know better. I don't know if he kind of exerted that and it kind of went to the next level. I can only hypothesize. However you slice it or dice it, I think, and I've seen some really bad versions of exercising authority on certain people, which, I mean, let's face it, like, why don't you, instead of going and locking people up, just say, you know what, you don't have a face mask? Okay, here you go. Here's 2. Boom, there, done, right? Like, simple, easy solution, right? And or, oh, they weren't supposed to be at the park anyway because it was closed off. I get it, but okay, don't you hand out a fine and just, like, walk them, like, here you go, $1,000. You got to pay it, not me. I don't know, but I do know this. Be more safe than sorry. Don't take the law into your own hands. However, for legal authorities out there, seriously, kind of exercise some judgment, because let's face it, the little kid who saw her like father who wanted to just play ball. How do you think that kid's going to grow up thinking like, wow? I mean, I hope they had a good discussion and I hope everything goes clear from there. But yeah, don't be like that. Okay. Anyway, so back to face masks. Wear them. Wear as many as you can, right? No, don't pile them on. You got to breathe. Oh, got it. Okay. I saw some people making them out of bras. I saw them making them out of like different devices and and they recommended, by the way, this was something I didn't get to bring up last week. Unfortunately, maybe, you know what? I'll look it up, because there's some good and bad things that you can do when putting a face mask together, including, and I saw this most recently, but before we go to that, let's go to break. I'll come back. When we come back, we'll share some tips and tricks of what to do versus what not to do right here on The Morning Show. Next, stay tuned for more right after these messages. right, those of you tuning in, we appreciate you. Let's see, we got Alejandro who says, "I've seen an alien mask that looks fantastic." Right? I can see that. There could be like some really cool ones out there. I saw like a samurai one, which had like the samurai, you know, the bottom one. I'm like, ooh, I would rock that totally. Or ninja mode, right? Hi-ya. Kung Fu Panda. I don't know. I'm trying to have fun with this. I really am, seriously. But there you go. Now, I have this, and you know, I probably will post this because I've seen a lot of like YouTubers talk about this, not knowing the full impact of what it is that they're putting together. So better safe than sorry on some of this, including something that I've heard a lot about people doing. And at first, don't get me wrong, I actually thought it was a good idea. At first, I was like, ooh, like using vacuum bags and or filters, right? What do you think, Jesse? Just out of the gate, what do you think? Good idea? Bad idea? Great idea?
Vacuum filters?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen worse.
What was worse? I hate to ask.
You talk about put it on your face, right?
Uh-huh.
A car air filter?
Oh, yeah, I guess that would work too. Oh, didn't think about that.
We have 4 seconds.
Welcome back. Yes, it is the morning show right here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. Joining our live TV audience over there at KVVB TV, Channel 33, Facebook Live, Periscope TV, LinkedIn Live, YouTube Live, and of course, Roku TV. We're trying to make today Fun Day Monday. In order to have some fun, you have to wear a face mask in order to do it, right? Wrong? No? Don't have fun outside? Got it. But if you got to go outside, wear a face mask. So a lot of people are tuning to YouTube and following a lot of followers that are making these kind of cool makeshift face masks. However, very important update on this as well. And I saw this over the weekend as well. And this was a article which talked about how certain materials, when cut up, can actually pose a danger to the lungs because they have certain type of material that can be inhaled. And this is no bueno. Like, seriously, no good for the majority of us who are now inhaling something. Of course, maybe you have like something in between, but even then you got to be careful. So the biggest item which has been recommended for face masks is filters and vacuum bags. Now, scientists, this is according to the article, are trying to find effective alternatives for medical workers that have cut up layers of air filters and tested HEPA vacuum bags. Now you're probably wondering, you know what, that actually makes sense. Like, you know what, when I first heard it, not gonna lie, I thought that was a great idea. I was thinking like air filters, right? Because they like do a lot of stuff and they like, you know, filter out the majority of bad germs out there. There's some really good ones. And according to this, both can work quite well, but both have significant downsides. Air filters, when cut up, can release fibers that can be dangerous to inhale. So that's very important, very important. You don't want to just go ahead and put that in together and then all start inhaling that. So the filter material should be sandwiched between, this is key, layers of heavy cotton fabric if used in a mask. Got that? So you can put it in between two different versions, right? So you're not just like, just because now you got all these little things, little particles in your lungs when cut up, and that's no good. Some of these have glass fibers, by the way. Anybody that knows anything about insulation will know that if you don't wear a mask and you cut it up, it actually gets into the air. So we don't want to get that into our lungs, especially when you got it like that close into your face, okay? So the filter material should be sandwiched between layers of heavy cotton fabric if used in a mask. Vacuum bags are good filters, but not that breathable. Plus, some brands of vacuum bags may contain fiberglass, so should not be used to cover your face. Okay, let me just highlight that again, because I could see already down the line there's going to be more problems from people making these makeshift face masks, which are not paying attention to the warning. So it's our job to get that word out. Be careful with certain ones, especially that contain fiberglass, okay? So try not to do that. And if you are going to do them, again, the recommendation is put it in between, sandwich it between two cloths. So one on the outside cotton, one on the inside cotton as well. Which, by the way, these are not easy to make, by the way. Do you know Brenda's been trying to make her very own, and these are just not that easy. You gotta have the right material, you gotta have the right thread. It's a pain in the butt. So I appreciate those companies that actually are doing it on the side. Of course, others are recommending different things like coffee filters, paper towels. The CDC suggests inserting a coffee filter into your mask for extra protection. Missouri University of Science and Technology scientists found that using three coffee filters made it difficult to breathe. So stay away from that. Adding a layer of paper towel in between 2 layers of fabric could make your homemade mask more efficient. An engineer at an air purifier firm ran his own tests and found a single paper towel filters 23% of 0.3 microns, and 2 paper towels filtered 33%. So not as good as some people thought, I know. Again, there's all kinds of things on here. Pillowcases, flannel pajamas, just so you know. A 2-layer mask of flannel and cotton was one of the best tested in the Wake Forest Baptist study and rivaled the efficiency of a surgical mask. What? I've got flannel pajamas. Jesse, you got any of those lying around?
Flannel pajamas, negatory.
A 2-layer mask of flannel and cotton was one of the best tested. Who knew?
Wow.
I've got some really soft flannel pajamas, which would be good for my face, which I'm thinking, oh man, I got to cut those up. So you know what? I might do that then. I might wear my flannel pajamas. But there you go. So, and then there's pillowcases. It says pillowcases are a good option for sewers who don't have, sewers. That was like, sewers? Who's going in the sewer? Sewers. It's the same word, but spelled the same, but you know. Sewers who don't have other fabric. In the 2013 study, 2 layers of pillowcase fabric tested close to the efficiency of a surgical mask at the 1 micron standard, but in a study at Missouri University of Science and Technology, it took 4 layers of 600 thread count pillowcase material to achieve that level of protection at the 0.3 micron standard. So there you go. Then tea towels. That's another one. Have you ever heard of that one, Jesse? Tea towels?
Of course. Who hasn't?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. You're creating so many wrinkles in your brain today. I kid you not. Okay. Tea towels became a popular source of mask material after an August 2013 study from researchers at University of Cambridge found the material compared well to a medical mask at the 1 micron particle size. Now, the study authors did not note the brand. The towel used was not terry cloth, but the tightly woven absorbent tea towel variety. And it goes on and on. So I'm going to post this actually on my Facebook page for the majority of you that want to follow me that currently are not. Maybe you're tuning in on radio and or online somewhere else. Just find me on Facebook. I will go ahead and put this. All you need to type in is Aaron Michael Sanchez. You'll see the official blue check mark, which took me a long time to get, by the way. But when I got it, I was like, ooh, so happy. So there you go. So I'm going to post it right now for all of you to go ahead and tune in. If you aren't already, please do go ahead and feel free to like the page as well, and then you'll be updated. Click on the little update first, and you'll always be updated for the morning show and any of our really great news items. Sometimes we have not so great news. Sometimes they go on certain rants that are necessary. However, for the rest of you, we appreciate you for tuning in each and every day. Like this one, Blanca Rivera, who's tuning in, says, Celebrity Bar and Grill from San Bernardino is making masks and selling them. Very good. Oh, cool. I wonder how much they're selling them for. Stephanie Reed says, I know I got accepted in the Harvard X of EDX program for a computer principles CS50 certificate program. Oh, good. So you're learning something new. I appreciate that. Jesse, have you been wanting to learn anything new? Because I've kind of been like, you know what, video editing, I know the basics, but I've kind of been thinking I want to take like a video editing course, like to learn how to create like a film project. You know what I mean?
Ooh, that sounds actually really interesting, but editing is so time consuming and tedious, I think is the word.
Yeah, I hate it. I don't enjoy it. I don't, there's some people that love editing, like our good friend Stephanie Reed, who loves to video edit. You have to have attention to detail, be creative, and be able to sit there for long periods of time and wait for it to process, because that's the worst part. Like, just people don't understand. They think, oh, it's really quick to video edit. Yeah, no, it's not. You do it yourself, then you'll find out very quickly. It's good to do basic editing. Like anybody that has a cool editing system, it takes hours and hours of time to process. Brenda talks about like processing hair, 3 hours. A video project that's like 5 minutes long can last up to anywhere from 8 to 12 to 15 hours. Literally, if you're doing a really good job. If you just do like plug and play, you put in and out, you put a couple title credits, you can squeeze that down to maybe 3.5 hours. And depending on the quality and your processor speed, it could be anywhere from just a couple hours minimum from what I've seen, to as much as 18, 15 hours, right? Anybody that knows editing knows it could be a long time to make a really good project stand out. So pay the money to the people, because I see people, especially in editing worlds, get like, people are like, well, I can have my friend do it. Fine, go let your friend do it and come back, and then you'll see the quality or lack of quality. But I have been thinking about like maybe upping my game over there, because it's kind of a necessity, you know. When you edit, you gotta do your own stuff. So there you go. People always ask me, how do you get to be on TV or radio and do all the stuff that you do? And people don't know. And I'm just going to go out on a limb and say, do it yourself. Seriously, learn how to do it yourself, and then you won't ever have to depend on anybody else. However, the problem with that is then you do so good, people think you don't need help, and you're like, no, I do need help, because I could only do so much before, in front of the camera, behind the camera, in front of the camera, behind the camera, on the side, scheduling an interview, doing all this stuff. People are like, you must have a 20-man team. I'm like, no, it's just me, myself, and Brenda and Jesse, who actually keep it all together for us on our live shows. So I appreciate them more than most people would, because I know what it's like to have to run your own show, quite literally. So Jesse, I appreciate you. Brenda, I appreciate you. There you go. You can't ever say I don't appreciate you, because I do. And I really do. Seriously, they make my life a whole lot easier. Without them, we would not have a show, quite literally. And of course, Tim Harris, who provided this great, amazing set. Okay, we got a lot of people tuning in. Let's see. We got Hood Tang, who's there. We went to high school together. I know I'm making this all about me. Okay, not less about me, but more on him. He actually, Tony's Donuts, by the way. Tony's Donuts, I know, is feeling the pinch, because I see a lot of his social media posts on this, and he's a good friend. We go back all the way to high school. We were in drama together. We were both he was a guy who didn't want to remember his lines. So I'd have to remember his lines for him. So if he ever flubbed, and he'll tell you this quite publicly, then I'd have to kind of get him back on track in front of a live audience. And then he'd go oh yeah, that's right. That's where I'm at. So yeah, he was, but really good actor, by the way, really good. That's why he did so great. Great at wrestling as well. Anyway, he has a donut shop in the city of Baldwin Park. And I highly recommend, we've promoted him in the past, Tony's Donuts. If you can, go ahead and support him, especially maybe buy some donuts for some healthcare workers. I mean, there's a lot of essential duties that, again, don't forget, a lot of our restaurants and or fast food, Dunkin' Donuts, they're another one. But instead of going to one of those, go to Tony's Donuts, because it's family owned. Quite literally, he runs it himself. He employs his own family and friends and takes care of this place. He's having a hard time out there. So if you're anywhere near Baldwin Park at any time during the day, go and visit Tony's Donuts, all right? Look it up and help support. I can imagine a lot of people during this time have certain friends or family members. We've got quite a few that all run restaurants and or are managing these and are feeling the pinch over there. So I know some of these are making it financially viable, they've reduced the price. We just saw, I think, BJ's the other day. BJ's was offering $6 items. Have you ever been to BJ's restaurants and gotten anything for $6, Jesse?
No, I have not. Not for $6.
Yeah, $6. I'm like, what? This is great, because the minimum I ever spend there is what, 15 maybe at the minimum, right? That's usually not including tip. So yeah, so they've got these items, and I think it's great, because a lot of these restaurants are making it viable for people to be like, you know what, I'll go ahead and order there, so that they could just pay just to keep the lights on, right? So look, I think more needs to be done for businesses across the country. I really do, from the top down. Quite literally, because I see a lot of these deferred payment plans. But the problem with that is, if you're out of work, what makes you think you're going to be able to catch up on any of these debts, right? You got 2 months of rent due, but they're deferred. And are you ever going to catch up? I don't know, Jesse. What do you think?
I have no idea. Although
Yeah.
I want to go back to restaurants again. I want to go
back to what?
Restaurants.
That's what?
Restaurants.
Oh, restaurants. Sorry, I thought you said Les Drops. I'm like, Les Drops? Who's a Les Drop? Sorry, my earpiece wasn't working there. Yeah, I know. I just sitting down. There's a lot of cool stuff that when we get back to it, we're going to be really grateful. We always do this little exercise before we pray. Before dinner, I ask, each one, what are you grateful for? What are you grateful for? What do you want to be included in this prayer? And, I think when we get out of this, we're going to have so much to be grateful for. I mean, we already should be grateful even now, right? That A, we're living, and or B, at least somewhat healthy. And if we're sick and or we know somebody that's sick, want to keep them in our thoughts and prayers as well. However, the majority of us end up saying what? Well, we are okay, I don't feel like being grateful for nothing. However, I challenge each and every one of you to be grateful for something, right? Just choose something to be grateful for. And it's challenging. It's hard, especially during this time that we're living in right now. Not going to mince words, right? Maybe financially, you're like, how am I going to pay the bills? Financially, how am I going to actually continue living on past this? Like, quite literally, it's all piling up. Like, literally, I called Spectrum to help like out with our finances, and they're like, well, we have a deferred payment plan. I'm like, well, that's not going to help me in the end, but okay, all right. So, because we need the wireless, although I thought I saw a program where they were like, no, we're going to keep it on no matter what. However, there you go. So there's some that are working with you. Some are actually giving back. Insurance companies. Did you see that? Remember we talked about Allstate being the first and then others would follow. Did you see that, Jesse?
Yeah, I remember you were mentioning it. Were
Yeah,
other follow suit or?
Yeah, so there's a lot of insurance companies now giving refunds, by the way, which I applaud this. I said that this should have been done a while back. Remember when we talked to our insurance broker and he was kind of like a douche? I'm not going to say it. Oh, I did. I just said it. You're kind of a douche, well, why aren't you not working? I'm working from home. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, no. But again, that was a broker representing the company. So I'm not going to call out the company itself, just the broker. But here you go. So there's a lot of insurers giving back, and you may want to check out your local insurer. So here's a list, and this is a partial list, actually. Let me go back to this one right here. There's a variety of them, but this one, for example, State Farm is also giving money back. Okay, so they're giving refunds because of coronavirus. Here's how you can get a break. Let's see. So this is State Farm. And this isn't the list I wanted, but each and every company out there, check which one you have. Some are going as little as 15%. And I say as little because some are doing like 25% refund. Others are doing even more. I think Allstate like led the charge really fast with what they're doing. So I'm kind of tempted to go back to them. However, check out with your own insurance carrier. Ours as well that we actually have, Mercury, I believe we have, they have a 15% money back. So whatever you do it well. Make sure to do the research. If you're finding times are tough, change is strange as it is for a good majority of us. Be careful out there and see what programs are available to you and or your household, especially if you're trying to put food on the table for the rest of your family. Okay, we appreciate all of you for tuning into this episode of The Morning Show. We know we've run out of time. We hate to say goodbye, but we will be back tomorrow right here on The Morning Show. Stay tuned for more right after these messages right here at ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. Download our app. It is free. KMET 1490 AM. Take us wherever you go. 24/7 live programming right here. All right, and for the rest of you, we appreciate you as well here at KVVB TV and online. Big shout out to those, especially somebody's first time, Breast Angel tuning in. Breast Angel over there. Okay, so that's different username, but that's a username on Periscope, by the way. Boss Mito tuning in, Palencia Diego, Lion tuning in, Saki, Jesus tuning in, Imangali tuning in, Reeson Rose tuning in, Zalim tuning in, Picosat and Yilma Zerkan tuning in. A lot of people from around the world tuning in. We appreciate you. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Maybe we'll give you a shout out as well. Let's see. We've got other people tuning in here on Facebook. Thank you. Okay, so back to being grateful. If you can choose one thing today to be grateful for, I'd like you to just type it out right there on social media. One thing that you're grateful for, whether it be a family friend, whether it be somebody that did something really kind, maybe something that is just in your life right now, maybe even just waking up today and being able to smell the fresh air, because no truth to the room, you can actually open your windows and actually like let sunlight and real air in, right? Just don't let somebody I wonder what happens when people like are on one story and then they like somebody like chews and it gets into, because that'd be kind of scary, right? I don't know. But there you go. Long story short, make sure to breathe some good fresh air, get some fresh air in your lungs. Maybe, just go out just a little bit, maybe even in the front, get some good sun, get the sun on, wear your face mask, you'll be fine. And then, of course, go back in. All right, seriously, go back in because we want to be more safe than sorry. I know the news headlines are everywhere and then some, but just be more safe than sorry for now. Remember, the extension got to May 15th here in LA. Okay, people, we appreciate you. Make it a great day, whatever you do. Remember, life is worth living, so live it well. Bye-bye, everybody.